Today's guest is an expert jeweler of Armenian descent, specializing in custom pieces operating out of New York City. Ari's father has been in the jewelry business for over 30 years, and while at first he was not interested in continuing the family business, that all changed once he arrived to his 20s after realizing the retail industry just wasn't for him. Although starting later in life, he quickly learned the craft at an expert level, creating some of the most intricate and gorgeous custom pieces for athletes, musicians, even all the way down to your average Joe. Ari's claim to fame is that every single piece is made of high quality, all under one roof, in-house, and with zero outsourcing. We had a wonderful conversation, and I gained lots of knowledge regarding the jewelry industry that I did not know of prior. Please welcome Ari Kafadar, also known as Ari The Jeweler. You're now listening to the Sauce Talk Podcast. What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sauce Talk Podcast. I'm your host with the most Al Siggity sauce. And today I'm here with my main man, Pots and Pans, Ari Kafadar, a.k.a. Ari The Jeweler. What's happening, baby?
How's everything, bro?
Did I pronounce that right?
No, you got it.
Kafadar?
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for coming, man. It's actually my first time meeting you. But we talk every fucking day regardless, so. In the highest Anzi group chat.
All day long. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So now, growing up and even now in present day, like I have some jewelry, but I never was like really huge into it for some reason. I appreciate it, and the jewelry that I do like is a little out of my budget. I like crazy stuff if I were to get it, so I just choose to stay away. I just wear my wedding band all the time. But I always admired it. It's always something I was interested in. I enjoy the art of it, the business side of it and stuff like that. So that's kind of why, I asked you to come here today. And one thing that I understand is there's jewelers and then there's people who sell jewelry. And there's a big difference. And what I mean by that is some people like to act as jewelers when in fact they really are only
middlemen.
Exactly, the middlemen. I mean, we can get into that later because I have a lot of questions regarding that. But I just wanted to make it clear to the listeners that there's a difference and there's a lot of imposters out there that claim to be jewelers, but they're really just retailers. They don't actually manufacture anything. They almost don't even have any design input, the whole nine. They're just a face, if you will. So, but I just wanted to, make that clear in the beginning. And
Sure.
By general definition, a jeweler is a person who makes, sells, and repairs jewelry and watches, right? Basically?
For sure.
Like by definition?
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Jersey or?
Oh, yeah. I grew up in Jersey.
What part of Jersey? Cliffside, right? You from
No,
over there?
I was in Fairview.
Oh, okay.
Fairview, yeah. I was there most of my life. We moved from Fairview to New Milford, North Jersey, around the Paramus area.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of close to Teaneck too, right?
Very close. And I was there until basically I got married, and now I'm in Saddlebrook.
Were you born in Jersey or were you born in Armenia?
I was born here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were born in Armenia for some reason.
A little bit of an accent, but no, I was born here.
So, what was your childhood like growing up in Jersey? Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. We're actually in business together. Childhood was good.
So
man.
just one brother?
Yeah, just one brother. No sisters. Average childhood, man. Go outside, play.
Yeah.
Different than what it is today. Like,
Yeah, it is.
can't do it. Yeah, you can't do anything like that today.
It's a shame, isn't it?
It's unfortunate in a different world we're living in, man. Like, they'd let me out at, 10, 11 in the morning, go outside, play. I had an Armenian neighbor. One of my closest friends growing up was Indian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And, and you'd come in for lunch, go back out, and then at nighttime you knew when to go back home. Like,
yeah.
Today, unfortunately,
it was a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
it was and most of the time, I mean, of course, there's circumstances where kids did get in trouble or abducted or run into you. Obviously, that's different. But it was, it was a different understanding. Back when we didn't even have cell phones, or even days before beepers. Like it was just it was like a cat. Like a cat goes and finds its way home. It's the same thing as when we were children.
Now everyone's got an iPad.
Yeah, and everybody's just timid and scared to even leave the house.
There's no social contact at all. Like
no
interaction. Shame. People don't have any. It's a different world, bro.
Even the way people date. Like I do not envy anyone in the dating scene right now.
All apps.
I'm so happy I'm off and away from that. I couldn't imagine it's like normal practice for people to date and meet online now.
Oh, it's the biggest way to meet people today, bro. It's insane.
It's crazy. But what's scary about it is you're basically curating yourself or somebody for yourself. So they like the same music. Okay. But you don't know if they're lying. You don't know if it's a bot. So it's it adds that extra level of fear. And even we started to experience it because how old are you? I'm 38.
37.
Okay, so we're right there. So you remember the days of AOL chat rooms and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
That was the start of it all. That weird online luring and entrapment type stuff.
People
Very
today
strange.
they don't have no personality, bro.
No, it's nothing.
No one goes to a bar to pick up a girl anymore.
Yeah.
They go online and the apps, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it's shot, man. So usually, I notice that anybody in the jewelry business, it usually runs in the family for the most part. Your father's a jeweler, and he has been for over 30 years, right?
Oh yeah, close to 35 years.
So shortly after you were born.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. My father and my mother moved over here from Turkey, and then basically he went into he had to find some type of work. So he was at first working in a gas station, pumping gas, and then one of his friends came and said, you could probably work in this jewelry business. Got into it and successful ever since.
Wow. What was the name of his establishment when he started?
So originally when he started, he was working as a manager for someone. He'd basically overlook all the operations. And that place, unfortunately went under. The guy basically closed down his business after 15 some odd years and moved on. And him and my lovely uncle, they started a business together. And then they were in business together for about 20 years.
What was the name of their business? Do you remember?
My father and my uncle's name. The business name was LaBelle.
LaBelle.
Yeah, LaBelle Fine Jewelry.
What does that mean? What's that? Is that
it's definitely French.
Yeah. What's the inspiration behind that name for them? It just sounded nice and elegant.
Yeah. Just sounded nice and elegant. They're this is the one.
Yeah. I just thought there was some people make businesses and they have real
based off
deep,
something.
significant meanings.
No backstory whatsoever.
No origin on that. Where was he based out of? New York?
Yeah. They were on 47th Street for the first 4 or 5 years of the business, and then they moved to 45th Street because just the 2-block difference, the rent difference was tremendous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $7,000-8,000 a month.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Huge difference. And then they were there. They've been there ever since. Up until 2020. We had a little bit of a falling out. Unfortunately, it happens when you're in business with family.
Yeah, you know what it is, man.
Yeah. And then we split up, went our separate ways, and me, my father, and my brother have been working together ever since.
When you were growing up, did you spend a lot of time in their shop growing up?
Oh, yeah. I'd go in during the summertime for sure, twice a week, and definitely on weekends we'd go. It was fun, just being around people and, kind of getting some ins and outs of things. Obviously you don't know much of anything.
You're just a kid.
You're just a kid. But it was nice, seeing people learning some stuff.
Did you ever, when you were growing up, did you ever see what your father was doing and think, I kind of want to do this when I'm older, or it didn't even hit your mind yet?
Honestly, no, it didn't hit my mind. I didn't think I'd go into the jewelry field at all.
Really?
Yeah, no. But things have interesting ways of working out.
I was reading an article about you that I believe it was with the New York Post, and I read that after high school you had no desire, like you just kind of said initially, to continue the family legacy. you went into retail. You were selling like high-end electronics. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
What kind of stuff were you selling? Like audiophile stuff or like
audiophile stuff, high-end TVs.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was an interesting part of life because you learn how to interact with people.
Yeah.
Like on retail. You learn how to talk to people. It kind of helped. And it was nice working in retail, but you're working 6 days a week, every weekend, you don't have much of a life.
Yeah, it's a grind.
It's not easy for
Long
sure.
hours, and your hours aren't like, usually they're like in the middle of the day till the end of the night.
Yeah. You don't have like time off at all.
No.
It's, if you're in the Paramus area, thankfully you have, Sundays off.
Oh yeah, because of the blue law, right?
Yeah, and that was really it.
Yeah, that's probably exhausting. Yeah, I don't miss retail at all either.
No, not at all.
I fucking can't stand it. So after you were doing that for a while and you started to get fed up, you decided to go with your father.
Yeah.
What age did you decide to make that switch?
Oh man, it was back like 2009 or 10. I want to say is when we started. It was when I went and I'm like, why not? Why don't I come and learn from you and kind of continue the business? You're not going to work forever.
Yeah,
I can help. Continue what you've built.
In your industry, is that considered starting late, or there is no age to it?
Man,
really?
I don't think there's much of an age. Like, there's people that have started so late. There's people who have, obviously started much, much earlier.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how much you love what you're going to do. Or, you got to kind of have a little bit of interest in it.
Yeah, of course. And I guess like your natural knack for learning and, picking up on things quickly, I guess would help contribute to excelling on a quicker level.
For sure.
When you started working for your father, what kind of work were you doing at first for him in the beginning? Were you doing like prep work? Was he teaching you like the intricacies of the craft very quickly? Or
so early on, I was learning some stuff from him, but mainly he was putting kind of like a internal catalog together, like where know models, like a bracelet. If someone calls, you got to know what bracelet it is and how many stones it takes, and just the ins and outs of things. And they didn't really have anything that was very what's the word, up to date, I want to say, like where they're kind of all over the place. We're like, we got to get something kind of in order, and we started basically a catalog and made that. And it was basically like, they're older guys, they don't know how to work the computer and all that. So it was basically making like, files and pictures and information, and basically making an internal catalog for us to be able to go based off of.
Yeah.
Early on, that was what I was doing up until like learning how to actually make the jewelry, sit down and, put it together and all that other stuff.
Yeah. How long did you work for your dad until you realized like you wanted to make the jump and start doing things, on your own?
It wasn't long, bro. Maybe a year.
Oh, wow.
Within a year or two, it was like, it's just probably what I want to do. Like,
that's dope.
Being able to kind of not being able to go in when you want, but go into work and like, leave when you want to if you can, stuff like that. And like not being relegated to an 8 to 5 or 9 to 4 or anything like that. Like, kind of being able to make your own hours.
Yeah, flexible and free.
Yeah, for sure.
I would assume that part of you going on your own and stuff like that was to like innovate and push your jeweler expertise to a new height. Like you just said, when you came in, you helped them organize and form a catalog because the ways they were doing things were sort of like antiquated and archaic.
Yep.
Lots of the older generation always tend to get stuck in like their old ways and their old traditions.
You can't teach them, bro.
Yeah. They don't want to like push boundaries. They don't want to apply new techniques. They're very, very stubborn and hard.
Stuck in their own ways, bro. It's just whatever they know. That's it.
Yeah, their old traditional stuff. But what's good is that, when the younger generation comes, because there's a lot of times where, especially with this new generation, they have parents that are in a business or involved in one. The general, consensus would be to pass the business on to your kid. Mm-hmm. But that barely happens anymore. A lot of these kids, especially kids that are brought up in this country, they want nothing to do with that. And while that's okay, you don't have to, but it's really a shame. So it's nice when somebody like you wants to continue it and push the family name forward.
Like like you said, it's a shame, unfortunately, but some people want to, go their own path, do their own thing, and they don't want to, go the route that their mother or father went. They want to do their own thing, and I agree, it is unfortunate,
especially when when the younger guy comes, he knows what's hip, he knows all that stuff. When you could add your flair, if you will, and then and essentially, if the kid's dedicated enough, it could really bring and lift the business up. It's kind of like what you did for your family name and your business.
Yeah, they were early on. They weren't doing so well. They were selling, the back end of it. They were selling mountings, blank bracelets and blank necklaces.
Oh, that's what they're called, mountings.
Yeah, mountings. They would sell them to diamond dealers. Those diamond dealers now take these mountings, pop those stones in, and sell them to retailers, stores, and whatnot. And that's basically what they were doing. They would just do up until the diamond part. And I came in, and within, I'd say, 3-4 years, things started to get a little bit better, and we started venturing into, the men's jewelry rather than just women's. Men's jewelry, it's the product is heavy, Cubans and all this, this big stuff.
Louder, outlandish.
Heavier, louder, exactly, outlandish. And we started doing a lot better when we started selling the men's stuff as well. And at first they were scared. They were like,
well, you're going against the grain.
Yeah, you're selling these 8, 9, 10 gram bracelets. It's okay. They're lightweight. If you have a loss, it's all right. What are you losing?
Yeah.
It's nothing. But if you have a loss on a 400 or 500 gram bracelet, a kilo chain, it's a hit.
Yeah, of course.
But thankfully things worked out and we did well. But if I don't go there, they probably don't venture into that part of the business. They keep doing what they're doing, and they would probably still be there doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, sometimes, hindsight's 20/20, bro.
I'm sure if you had a conversation with your father now and asked him retrospectively, did this help you regain, how do I put it? Make the job fun again because you're learning a new skill, it's almost like he's elevating him. So you're helping elevate the business and the craft itself. So it's kind of like he must feel not as bored. When you're stuck in the complacent ways of the same thing every day,
yep.
Something new comes along, it makes it kind of fun, whether you enjoy it in the beginning or not. You know what I mean? So he must, I'm sure if you asked him, he would agree.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he would have definitely said, I wish you came in 5 years earlier.
Yeah, because he saw them dollars rolling. Them motherfucking dollars. So when you started working from the beginning, besides forming that catalog and going into the heavier men's jewelry, was there anything else that you did to elevate the business and change things?
Oh, just another hand, man. After putting all that stuff together, I'd literally sit down like an employee and put the product together. Literally make these bracelets and make the necklaces and all that other stuff. And then it was just a matter of word of mouth. You got to reach people. You have a client base of, let's say 15, 20 clients you deal with, but you got to expand. You got to find more. Of
course.
You can't just be happy with what you have. So it was basically looking around, finding new clients. My brother started working with us, and basically it was legwork. My brother did a shitload of work. He'd do a lot of the legwork and basically find new clients, and that's all it is, bro.
What about diamond clarities and gemstones? How did you gain your knowledge regarding those?
We have some of the biggest diamond dealers in the city. In the world, actually.
Trustworthy, obviously, I would suppose.
People that, you wouldn't question.
Yeah.
And my father's known some of these guys for, now 25-something years. And I asked him, I'm like, Dad, if we're going to get into this finished goods part and make these necklaces and Cubans, it's got to be good quality stuff. You can't be like everybody else trying to keep your margins, to a bare minimum just to kill people. We got to put out good quality work. He's like, go with this diamond dealer and this guy. And we started using them, and basically we've been working with them ever since.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to find basically 1 or 2 guys and stick with them, because they're not going to switch things up on you, because you could notice, you could tell, because you're buying these parcels of diamonds, let's say 50 carats at a time, 100 carats at a time. You can tell the difference. You could see if they're trying to switch things up.
After experience.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at them for, 10, 15 years, you understand. It's just, like you said, experience.
So I'm not really well versed in diamond clarities and stuff. Can you go over and explain the diamond clarity scale for me? Like, you know, from the lowest to the best, like VVS, whatever that stuff means.
So you have I goods, just the letters. We're going with I.
Okay.
From there, you go to SI goods. So basically, the letters are the I says they're inclusions, like little lines imperfections. Correct.
Okay.
SI means there's slight imperfections.
Oh, okay.
And you have SI3, SI2, and SI1. From 3 to 1, it goes from worst to best. So
1 being the best?
1 being the best.
Okay.
So from SIs, you go then to VS goods. You have VS2 and VS1. VS1 being a little bit better.
Okay, because the numbers, okay.
Correct. And then from there, you go to VVS goods. Very, very slight inclusions. Basically meaning there's nothing there.
Closer to perfect.
Closer to perfect. From there, you have internal flawless and flawless.
Really?
Yeah, stuff basically like, you know, Tiffany's uses, De Beers, and all those guys.
Yeah.
Besides that, you have color grades. It's basically the alphabet from D all the way up down to like K. D being the
best?
lightest, and down to K being, you know, having color, you know, yellow, which you don't necessarily want. And that's really it. I mean, if you're buying a stone for like an engagement ring, you can't have everything, unfortunately. You can't have the size and the color, and you can, but, you know.
You're going to pay up the ass.
You're going to pay some crazy figure. So you got to make a little bit of, you got to give and get, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to either pick, you want the size and the color, or do you want the clarity and the size?
Yeah.
Basically, figure out what it is you want.
And the eye, it's probably very cloudy, I would assume,
Yeah, for
right?
for sure.
And as you go up, it's clear, almost like glass in a sense.
I would say from VS goods, VS2 up, it's clean stuff. Like everybody and their mother says I have VVS. Very few guys have VVS. Like,
yeah, that's a rapper term. They love to say VVS.
Everything is VVS.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what VVS diamonds cost per carat, it's absurd. Yeah. You're talking about like a carat of diamonds. Let's say a pendant that has 5 carats of stones. Let's say that's 500 diamonds. It makes, you know, close to 5 carats. You're talking about $1,000 a carat. That's just, we're talking about just what it costs to buy from the diamond dealer.
Yeah, your cost.
My cost. You know, the diamonds are costing close to, you know, $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, VVS doesn't exist. It exists, but not to the point where everybody's saying it.
It's more of a label that people like to name drop.
Yeah. And if you tell them it's VS, it's like, oh, no.
I need VVS.
I need VVS.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the chain that they have on has SI goods.
Let me ask you this too. So there's obviously all different types of cuts of diamonds, right? Even the smaller ones have like their own cut to them,
Of course.
I would assume that with the right cut, you could pass off a shittier clarity diamond if it's cut in the right way to bring out the brightness in it, right? So you could kind of hide.
If the imperfection is in let's say on an engagement ring, let's say if it's a round stone, if the imperfection is on, you know, the sides, you can hide that imperfection under one of the prongs that's going to hold the stone.
Interesting. So that's a skill in itself,
for sure.
which is pretty interesting. Like being able to strategically, because then it's also about like you're making money, right? So like you're buying this for this price, you got to sell it for this, but you could get something. It's not the best diamond, but if you design the ring in the right way,
it could be.
You can not only save money, but make even more because you were artistic and a way of hiding it that they'll never be able to see.
Of course.
That's interesting. Now, let's say diamond testers, right? Are a lot of them bullshit?
I mean,
and what exactly is it testing? That's what I don't understand.
If we're talking about those like $15, $20, $100 testers, that's nonsense. It's testing to see if it's a moissanite or if it's an actual diamond.
How does it? Do you know the technology in it? How does it let you know?
On those cheap ones,
yeah. How does it? What does it tell? Is it telling? How does it know?
It's not accurate. There's I
wonder what that machine is picking up in the stone that it could tell you it's real or not. I always wondered that.
I've never actually
sat there and looked. I know I'm getting a little. I'm like a nerd, so I get a little too curious. I get a little too deep, but I was just curious because I see all these videos. people hitting people up, hitting them with the diamond tester and the shit, bing, bing, or whatever. It makes lights up green, red, and shit like that. I'm like, how the fuck, what is this machine picking up to signify that it's real or not?
Those cheap ones are a complete waste of time, especially now with like lab grown diamonds.
Oh yeah, so
people are mixing like lab grown with natural and just selling it as one, not saying anything,
which happens a lot.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man.
What's your opinion on lab diamonds?
I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're real diamonds. Rather than get mined in the ground, they're made in the lab.
They're not natural.
No, I mean, they're not natural diamonds. They're not made the natural way of coming out of the floor.
Yeah.
But I mean, the best way someone explained it to me was, people, you have a couple. Unfortunately, let's say after a while, they can't have a kid the natural way. So what do? They
Okay.
go and you put a kid into an incubator and it's still a kid, bro. It's
in vitro and stuff. That's interesting.
It's still a kid.
That's a real interesting
that's
analogy.
The best way that he explained it to me where I understood.
That was
at
poetic.
First I was like, oh, it's nonsense. It's going to die off. It's not going to be here forever. And they've been here and they're getting bigger and bigger.
No, that's poetic. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I always was curious about it. Some people hate them. Some people don't mind.
No, there's absolutely no reason not to do them. I mean, if you're looking for an engagement ring, you want to buy something nice and you don't want to spend whatever the case may be, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, for sure. You can venture into the lab grown diamond and find something phenomenal for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, is it a significant difference or is it
a huge difference? You're talking about 50% difference.
Wow.
Yeah, huge difference. Huge difference.
That's unbelievable. So a diamond tester, the reason why I asked that is a diamond tester would pick one of those up.
These nonsense
as a regular
ones,
diamond?
these cheap ones, the $100 pen tester, those $200-$300 ones, they're not accurate. Like there's one machine out there that actually, like what you do is you put the entire piece of jewelry on the platform and you push it in. And if there's 1,000 stones in the pendant,
it picks them all up.
It'll pick them all up. The natural stones will all be in blue and lab grown will be a dot in red.
Oh.
So it'll literally tell you
so
which one.
Separate.
Oh, yeah. There's, I mean, those. One of them is called the Sherlock Holmes, the one machine. It's like $7,000-$8,000. And there's another one. The machine is like $25,000-$30,000.
Wow.
And it's not like you could buy them. You buy them and they're like back order. You got to wait like 6-7 months.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Since it's lab grown, but it is a real diamond, I was wondering if those testers would just pass it off as a real diamond and not show you.
A lot of those cheaper pens, to the diamond testers.
Yeah.
They have like a section that says like lab on it.
Oh.
So it'll like light up in like green, let's say.
Oh, okay.
Again, if it's accurate,
Yeah, if it's accurate.
With those cheap ones, you can't really, it's hit or miss.
Oh, that's interesting. So I would assume, it's obviously best to be transparent and let your customer know.
You have to.
So now since that, when did lab diamonds start becoming really popular in this industry? Is it fairly recent, right?
Yeah, I'd say 2015 or so, 16, right around that range. Like they started becoming a lot more like available, where you'd be able to like, originally it was just like, up until like a carat stone. And they started making them bigger, 1.5 carat, 2 carat, 5. Now they have monster size stones, 15 carat round diamonds.
Wow.
Yeah, and like literally a fraction, like 50%, 60, 70% less than what a natural one would cost. Actually, like a lot of the younger generation, they actually go for the lab grown because they say that it's better for the environment. How true it is, I don't know, but the younger generation, they like the lab growns.
I would assume that a benefit from lab grown diamonds would be they could almost make them perfect.
Oh, they're
probably flawless.
Man. They are. Like you can get a parcel of diamonds to make a pendant or a ring and get like VVS goods.
Yeah.
And it's like D color, E color, like white goods. Like no hint of yellow, no imperfections, nothing. Like again, as a jeweler, you have to be transparent. You can't, no funny games, no
Of course.
flipping around. You have to tell them what they're getting.
Well, a good jeweler.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately,
There's a lot of people that-
there's a lot of shady guys out there, man.
Yeah.
That don't say anything. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I mean, and you know what it is? Unfortunately, those guys, they get you once, they get you twice, but that client's never going to buy from you again.
Oh, of course not.
And unfortunately, they give the good jewelers out there, they give them a bad name.
Yeah.
Because of the experience that they've had.
Of course. Yeah, some of them are like, they're real reminiscent of like being like crooked car salesmen.
Oh,
they push and push
sure.
and push.
Used car salesman, bro.
They force stuff down your throat.
Deposit. Give me a deposit. It's insane.
I want to talk about the color yellow because you brought up the color yellow, right? Mm-hmm. But to my understanding, yellow diamonds are extraordinarily rare.
Canary yellow is, yeah.
But you wouldn't want a diamond with a yellow color, though. So
not
is
a
that
diamond, not into like an engagement ring. Not in like where it has a yellow hint.
It's a yellow hue, right? It's not like
hue, yeah.
It's not the yellow diamonds are like super hyper yellow, right?
Yeah, canary, like a
Yes.
canary bird, like I'm talking bright yellow. And people use those for like fancy shapes. You know, if you're making a fancy ring or whatnot. I used one a couple of months back, close to actually a year ago, into a pendant for one of the young kids coming into the NFL. He made like a Thanos pendant.
I saw that one. That has real. That's a real.
That yellow canary on the.
Oh, that's a real one.
That's a canary yellow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That thing was beautiful. That fucking thing you did, man.
Man, he sent me a picture, and I'm talking to the enameler, and she's sitting next to me. She's like, "I need a picture from the front, the side, the back." I'm like, why the hell do you need a picture from the back? Okay, whatever. If you need it, I'll get you the picture from the back as well. So I got in the pictures, and we sat down, and she's working on the colors and making it to be perfect. She did a phenomenal job. Like the enamel work took, I think, 5 or 6 weeks to get like done from start to end, but it looked exactly like him. Like when I showed him the pendant, he goes,
"No, it's unbelievable."
And like it's such tough work because they like sit there and they do this under like a microscope.
Yeah,
it's my work is difficult, but an enameler's work is 10 times more difficult. Like,
no, I'm gonna actually post that picture because I do like a video teaser before I drop an episode. I'm gonna showcase a couple of my favorite pieces of yours, and that's up there with one of them.
That piece was
that piece is gorgeous. So, what's the price difference in a yellow diamond as opposed to a normal diamond?
You're talking like a canary fancy yellow or a yellow that's on the lower scale?
No, like a real canary.
Man, a canary yellow on a small stone can run $5,000 per carat. Like it could cost, one little stone can cost you $3,000. It can cost, 10 times that.
Wow.
All depends. Yeah. All depends on the size and the cut and the shape. There's a bunch of factors.
And what's up with blue diamonds? Are those real? Like they're mined like that, or is this like something? A lot of those
are lab. I mean, there's some colored stones, but a lot of what you see, if they're like small parcel of diamonds, they're treated. They basically it's a diamond that's turned into color.
Yeah,
whether it's black, white, whatever the color may be. And a lot of them are lab grown.
Yeah.
Like at that point, natural lab doesn't make a difference.
Of course.
Like, you're adding a treatment to it to turn it into a color. What difference does it make?
Yeah. What about what other gemstones do you work with a lot? I know you work with diamonds predominantly, but do you work with like rubies a lot and like emeralds on occasion? Do you work with other gemstones?
There, like for that pendant that we were just talking about, the Thanos piece, I made him a necklace that had 6 different shapes. It had like
teardrop, right?
Teardrop. There was a marquee, a round stone, pear, emerald cut, and each one had a color. Like the emerald cut was green. One of the other ones were, I think, yellow. There was a red stone in there. So I venture into some emeralds, green emeralds, some sapphires here and there, some rubies, but predominantly it's round brilliant diamonds.
Yeah. Is there any gemstones besides diamonds that you're into working with? Or are you just strictly a diamond guy?
Yeah, strictly diamonds. Well, a lot of it's like 90% of the guys I do business with, they don't want the color. They don't care for,
Yeah.
round, red or, blue stones or emeralds.
I do like emeralds. They're nice.
Emeralds are beautiful, man.
I like
emeralds,
them.
emeralds into like a yellow chain, like a tennis, phenomenal.
Yeah, a friend of mine just he got engaged, and his wife it's an emerald engagement ring with diamonds around it.
Ooh.
Looks beautiful.
An emerald cut or an emerald like a green stone?
Green stone.
Ooh, beautiful.
In the middle, and then there's the
halo around it.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. So what I find interesting about the location you currently have in New York, it's like, if I'm correct, it's about 3 blocks away from the Diamond District, right?
Yeah. I'm on the Diamond District on 47th Street between 5th and 6th Ave. I'm on 45th Street, so I'm 2 blocks off of basically the Diamond District.
And it's not necessarily like your typical retail space either, right? Like I know you have a couple of glass cases, but it's mostly a manufacturing hub for all your work, right?
So the building that we're in, it's one of the last few buildings like between 44th and 48th Street where they're allowing actual manufacturers in the building to do their work.
Really? What is there, like zoning issues with that?
Yeah, it's looking like it, man. I mean,
wow.
a lot of guys have closed down and basically not returned to work, and it's unfortunate, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We're on the 7th floor. We have the entire floor to ourselves.
Oh, that's nice.
And 75% of the floor is basically our work area. Where we manufacture, put it together, polish, pop the diamonds and all that stuff. And then the other 25% of it's like basically a showroom.
Okay.
A lot of people don't come in because 90% of the work I do is basically stuff
Custom.
it's customized. I ship it out.
Yeah.
But you have to have something. I got a decent following on Instagram, and if a player comes into town, he wants to come see you, you got to have somewhere. I can't just have a
fucking
workspace.
lab. Yeah. It's gonna look unprofessional.
So we have a showroom where they come by. If there's somebody in town
with your logo on the wall. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
What's the significance about your logo? Is that a ram or a goat?
It's
what is
goat,
it?
Yeah, basically a goat sideways, and there's
your initials, right?
Yeah,
AK or whatever.
A. You could go with my name, my brother's name, my mother's name.
What's the significance of the goat?
We originally, when I got into the business and I was making my first couple pieces, we worked out a nice price for the customer. He's a player on the Panthers. And he's like, Ari, man, fucking, you're the GOAT, bro.
Oh.
The price worked out. Fucking price is sick. You came in cheaper than this guy. The work is better, and you got it done quicker. And then the next guy, basically, he moved me onto a couple of guys on his team. Made 4 or 5 pieces, and basically all these guys referred to. It's like, oh, go to Ari, bro. He's the GOAT. Like, go Ari.
Oh, that's funny. I always wondered what that was. Oh, that's awesome.
So we sat down. I'm like, bro, what do you think I should make? The logo. I got to put something together.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you do a ram sideways and like attach an initial to it? So I sat down and started drawing it out one night.
So it started out because you're
ram,
the GOAT.
Yeah. Don't go with labels. That's nonsense.
I love the chain you have. I can see it shining from here. It's beautiful.
Yes, sir.
It's a nice piece. It's not too big, not too small.
Perfect. Not again.
It's classy.
Not everything's got to be enormous.
Yeah.
And today, unfortunately, the smaller the better.
I think so.
Little details. Not everything's got to be enormous.
Quality stones.
Yeah.
Nice size.
Good work.
It's effective. It gets the job done.
You gotta represent yourself a little bit. So I was like, let me make a pendant for me and my brother.
Yeah. That's not you having a place with not such a big retail space. Most jewelers, they want this big thing, million cabinets. That's not typical of the way you run things for most jewelers, I would assume. But it appears that that's probably the most cost-effective way of operation, no?
Yeah.
Yes and no, I would
You're talking about the guys who have like the huge showrooms on 47th Street?
Yep.
Yeah,
their rent's probably astronomical.
Talk $25,000, $30,000 easy.
Easy a month.
Easy a month. And especially being on 47th Street. But those guys, you got to respect. I respect the hustle. I got nothing bad to say, but very few of those guys are actually making any of the stuff. Like we were talking about this earlier, but they outsource it to a bunch of different vendors to do the work for them.
Yeah.
So you can control things, but how much can you control?
Yeah.
This guy's designing it for you. Then it comes into your hands. Then you got to have somebody make the actual product.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can happen.
Of course.
Like if you're not hands-on, like when I make a piece, the design comes through me before we actually start the process of making it. I approve it with the customer. So he knows what he's getting. And then I have a wax made of it. I print it out, show him, he's okay with it. Like all this is kind of hands-on. Like
It's personal.
yeah, bro. Like a pendant or any piece or anything goes through my hands, or my father's hands, or my brother's hands at least 10 to 15 times before it's actually finished. Like it's got to be perfect by the time it leaves. And like, if you're having all these different people do the work for you, it's what exactly are you doing?
Exactly. You're just a curator, like we were talking about before.
You're a middleman, which is fine.
Yeah.
Again, respect the hustle. Nothing bad to say about it, but not a jeweler.
Yeah. That's what I love about you. You take pride in being the fact that you're a one-stop shop. It's well known that everything you do is, all done in-house with zero outsourcing almost.
Everything's done in-house. Like 90% of the guys we're talking about that have the showrooms, they couldn't sit down and size a ring. Like if a customer came in and said, my ring's a size 7, can you make it a size 6? Yeah, they'll take it from you. They'll send it out to somewhere and get it done in 2-3 hours.
And then they got to pay, and then they charge you on top of that.
I'm going to get the ring. I'm going to get it done in literally 5 minutes. And the guy's going to see me doing the work.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to take it and go somewhere to get it done.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it from him, go inside, sit down, cut it, weld it, finish it. Or have one of the employees do it that I'm working. But it gets done in our premises.
Speaking of that, resizing a ring, I always wondered how that was done, but by you just saying cut it, weld it, that makes sense. That sounds kind of difficult. Because you would have to get it just right.
It's if it's an eternity band and there's diamonds all the way around,
that makes it even harder.
It's hard, especially if you're got to make it smaller.
Yeah. So what would you have to do? Let's say you want to make it bigger. You would have to add more stones.
Bigger,
right?
It's all depending on how the ring is, but a lot of times if it's, close, like let's say a half a size or a size, you're able to eat at the inside of it, like the actual inside of the ring, and make it bigger. Like yeah. But if you got to go smaller and it's an eternity band,
because you'd have to remove stones, cut it, weld it.
Yeah, you're taking a stone out and praying to God when you weld it back together that it fits.
And that it's seamless and it doesn't look like
you're missing something there.
Yeah, wow, that's fucking interesting.
We've done it once or twice where a size had to, someone got pregnant and it wasn't working and they wanted to make it smaller. He sent it to me and I'm like, bro, it's an eternity band. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
I sat down with one of the guys and the two bench jewelers that I have with us, they used to work at Tiffany's for like 25 years.
Oh, interesting.
Two of the best, like geniuses, these guys.
They wouldn't hire slouches, yeah.
No, they're the guy, like I give him something I can't figure out, he'll figure out in like 2-3 minutes.
Wow. Like
just smart. And he's like, it could work, it can't work, I'm not sure. So he's sitting there sizing it. He's like, oh, it's gonna work. I'm like, are you sure? Like if we cut it, we gotta remake it. He's like, it's gonna work. Okay, took the ring, cut one section out of it, put it together, used a little, it's like a mangana, it's called, basically like a little thing where you put the ring. Yeah, you take the ring and you put it inside of this metal thing, the sizer.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Started hitting it, made the size work, welded it back together, seamless. You couldn't even tell.
Wow.
Now I'm sitting there, I'm sweating, bro. I'm like, bro, if this doesn't work,
that's gonna cost you thousands.
It's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he made it work, bro.
That's interesting. Yep. Yeah, I always wonder when you get a ring resized. I've seen rings like that I found from like my parents when they were kids. Mm-hmm. And they would have like this little clip.
Oh yeah, the little metal.
I'm like, I hope they don't do that shit anymore.
You're gonna laugh. I've had people send me rings like this. Like I haven't made them, but like they got it done from somewhere. And like, let's say the guy played for the Vikings.
Yeah.
He sent me a ring from Minnesota. He's like, bro, can we remake this? Like it doesn't fit. And he sent me something and it was literally like a metal piece on the bottom of the ring from each side. I'm like,
I think I have one of my parents from years ago.
Well, like for you and me to have it, it's all right. Whatever. It is what it is. But like a football player's wife, man, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, this is shit.
This is how you fix the ring for your client. Like you got to have a little bit of self-respect.
Yeah, that's bad, bro.
And then like,
bad.
The jeweler from Minnesota started doing business with us just on the manufacturing part. And then he saw that the kid from Minnesota sent me some work. He blocked me on Instagram, started ordering stuff from us. I'm like, bro, if you do your job correctly, a player from Minnesota is not going to venture off to find somebody in New York, Florida, anywhere. He's going to get work from the local. I'm like, that's not my fault.
Yeah, usually when they find a good guy, they stay.
Of course.
Why would you? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Of course not. Do your job correctly. You're not going to lose any clients.
There's nothing like loyalty, man.
Of course, bro. Number one.
To have trustworthy people at your disposal, for sure. Can you walk me through your creative process for like when you're trying to find inspiration when you're designing a piece? Like, are you I'm assuming that most of the customers have the general idea of what they want when it comes to custom work. But let's say you have somebody that wants you to take more of the creative wheel, if you will. What's your process? Do you personally hand draw, or are you working with other artists?
No, a lot of the stuff is hand drawn at first, like
like a brief sketch.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is basically like a brief sketch, and like it starts off with a brief sketch, and then we get kind of intricate into it. Like I'll draw out something more substantial, and once he kind of has an idea, we'll get it over to the graphic designer, and he'll make a CAD,
like
a 3D CAD of it, and that's really it. I mean, most people know what they want. It's just, whether it's an initial pendant or a number or, a round pendant with some stones.
Yeah.
A lot of guys know what they want, just by looking at other people's pendants. You just got to kind of guide them.
Yeah. And with better decisions. You should put this here because of this.
Growing up, I was artistic where I'd be able to like draw. That's what I thought I was going to end up doing, like out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully I, put it to good use.
Yeah, of course. But I was going to ask you because I've never seen, I don't know if you would ever end up doing that because this is probably stuff you don't want to flood your page with. But like I told you, I'm like a nerd with stuff like this, and I get really curious. And like one of my favorite shows is how it's made. I love not only how things are done behind the scenes and from the ground up, but I also love people's stories like yourself and stuff. I love origin stories, whether it's a material item, how it was crafted, or that. I love that shit. That shit drives me nuts. I love, hearing a song on the radio is cool, right? But when a documentary comes out and I get to see the accidents that happened and they chose, I kept this piece in here, edited this way because it was an accident, but it's not, I like that stuff. So since you draw all your stuff, you should maybe start posting your stories, like your original sketches of stuff, and just show the process from the sketch up.
I definitely could go back and do that.
I would like that. And I'd like to see your art too. I didn't know that you were because you don't post that stuff. I didn't know that you were actually an artist.
Growing up in middle school, I had one watercolor, like a different type of a painting that went into the library in New Milford.
Oh, you were a watercolor guy, huh?
Yeah, a whole bunch of different things.
I love watercolor. The feeling that it gives off the paper is way different than anything else.
Definitely.
It's tough. It's tough to work with, though.
Very hard.
You need the right paper, first of all, because it has to absorb it. I know all about that. I used to draw myself, but I love just watching artists. So I'd love to see some of your... Do you still sketch like for fun?
Not so
or is it only work-based now?
Work. Like having two kids, it's you can't really do much.
No, you're right.
Leisure, unfortunately, doesn't exist.
Yeah. God bless your kids, by the way.
Thank you.
You have your daughter's the newest addition, right?
Yeah, she's 7 months old now.
Wow,
almost 8. Actually, almost.
You're
8.
done with 2?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
I'm done with 1, bro.
Well, it is hard, man.
God bless you with 2.
And the people who said 2 is easier than 1, those people are morons.
Full of shit, right?
Yeah, it's nonsense.
That's why I'm good.
You got to worry about now 2 kids and 2 mouths and 2 people crying and
at different levels.
Yeah,
depending on what age you had them at.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'd love to see your drawings. So
No, definitely.
If you have some stuff, I'd love to check it out.
It's funny. I was putting together one today for one of the guys, a small little pendant. I'll send you some images when I get home.
Yeah. What do you sketch in pencil predominantly?
Yeah, pencil, and I'll depending on if it's round diamonds or emerald cuts, or if we're using a fancy shape, I'll give them some idea of how it's going to look, and obviously they understand it's something preliminary. Get it done and basically move forward from there.
With diamond cuts, are you buying them in the cut you desire, or is there a weird chance that you're doing it too?
No. The cuts,
you need a machine for that, right?
That's something that the diamond dealers themselves kind of get done. Whether you're buying 90% of these like custom pendants 95% of them have round diamonds, and then the off chance, a lot of people recently started putting emerald cuts. They're more like rectangular shapes.
Yeah.
They're difficult to work with. Like, setting them and making them look right and clean, it's not easy. But round diamonds, you could get away if, one is not set evenly.
Yeah.
Like the other 99%. But if an emerald cut is not even with the other 100-something stones or whatever it is,
You'll notice.
it'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Especially because of how light reflects through them.
Yep.
You'll see a shade in a spot where you shouldn't.
For sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You ever think of, since you do everything in-house, you ever think of possibly getting a machine to make your own cuts?
Man.
Would you have to make connections to buy the raw diamonds before cutting them too?
For sure.
Yeah, that's probably a whole different animal,
It's
right?
a whole nother thing to venture off into. And
You think it's worth it?
I don't think so.
No, right? That's like next level.
At that point, you let the diamond dealers that make their small cut on, cutting them and, filtering through them, you let them make their cut and just be happy with what you get.
Yeah. What materials do you prefer to work with the most and why? As far as like platinum, white golds.
Platinum mainly goes into like rings.
Because of its durability?
Of course. It's and looks nice. It's a little bit more matte if you add it to it. Custom stuff, either 10K or 14K.
That's your favorite to work with?
Definitely. If it's like a custom pendant, definitely 10K or 14K, because 18K gets heavy and kind of redundant. You don't need that in something that's getting diamonds. Preferably, I would say if I was making a big pendant, I would do 10K over 14K because it's more sturdy.
I was going to say the lower you go, the harder.
The harder the metal, definitely.
But
the
the higher the number, the more expensive.
Of course.
Which is crazy because it's softer. Like 24 karat and higher, it gets almost more of an orange-ish color, right?
Yeah.
And it's soft.
Really soft.
Does anybody really use, what's the highest cut of a carat of a gold they have available? Is there anything above 24?
No, you could work in 24, but nobody does anything in 24K gold.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Nobody does, right?
No, it's basically,
What's the purpose?
90%, there is no purpose.
Just to floss that I have the most expensive version?
I mean, I've a couple of guys have reached out saying they want a gold bar. So,
like a straight up bar.
Like a 5-ounce bar, 10-ounce bar. And
with their insignia on it or something?
Yeah, well, definitely. And I've gotten a 5 or a 10-ounce bar, and I've enclosed it inside of like a frame with a bail, and they wear it like a pendant.
Jerk offs. That's what you call it, jerk off.
Man, it's at that point you buy it and put it in the safe.
Yeah.
Why? What are you wearing it for?
Yeah, because usually when you buy a gold bar, it's for investment, right?
Of course. And gold is skyrocketing. I mean, what's the reason? I have no idea. Like gold was, let's say, 2,000 an ounce. It's like 2,350, I think. Like it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, I didn't even think about that element of it, like having people getting their own like insignia branded in it. Would that decrease the value or no? Because gold is gold, right?
Gold is gold. I mean, you can
melt it down, do whatever you need with it. Is there any particular subject matter that you like to create the most when you're making custom pieces for your clients? Or do you just really don't care and you just do whatever they want?
Not that I don't care. I mean, of course, you maybe not care, not so much not care in the beginning, but you build a connection as you're working on it. Whether it's an initial or a number or, a memorial pendant. Let's say someone passed away and they want to make something to, hold close to them. It's not that I like working with one type of a piece over another. I do basically all of it. I'm not partial to.
You enjoy it piece to piece.
Definitely. Piece to piece it's nice.
Yeah. Since you came into it and, you brought life into your family's business because they had the old-fashioned traditional ways. How do you balance tradition with innovation in your work? Because tradition, even though I called them stubborn and hard-headed, tradition is tradition for a reason because it works.
100%.
So you need to bring that with you when you're evolving.
Sure.
But in the right amounts. So was it hard for you to transition and balance tradition with innovation in your work?
It was especially, I'd say now more than even before.
Really?
Now it's just, my father, me and my brother. Before it was, my uncle was there. Now it's like my dad's there. He's stubborn. I'm as stubborn as all hell. Like trying to figure how to make things work and how to make a pendant work or whatever you got to do to make it work. Or if it's, a certain size and you got to cut it into 2 pieces because it won't fit into the flask. There's stuff that for sure he knows that I not necessarily not know, but I wouldn't think of maybe. Like, a way to do something. Then because he's the brains behind the operation. I might be designing it and thinking it and putting it together, but he's the one who's actually like making the actual pieces in the gold. In the back.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who gets it done. Yeah, cool. Him and my brother. So they do that part of it. I let them argue about what they're going to argue about. I kind of, we work in the same place, but on two completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. That's probably beneficial, even though
it's the best.
Because the three of you could all work on your own things and harmoniously you create this magic.
I mean, I do, like I said, I do the finished goods, the stuff with the diamonds and deal with a lot of the, athletes and whatnot. My brother handles the day-to-day business itself at work, like, giving work and taking work from employees.
Yeah.
The day-to-day operations. And my dad's the one who basically works in the back, putting and making the stuff.
Ah, okay.
And then give to the employees to, put together and, make work.
Yeah, that makes sense. How rapidly has the technology changed when it comes to crafting pieces from when you first went into the business in comparison to now?
I mean, now you have, let's say to make a pendant, you have CAD. Guys are designing it.
3D printing.
Yeah, and originally, there was no CAD.
Yeah.
Sat there and like...
hand sculpting, right?
Yeah, bro, it's insane.
Yeah, so what would you... So back then, I would assume, because me personally, I have a side business. I sell custom, like, collectible enamel pins, right? Mm-hmm. So now I don't have the machinery. So what I'm doing is I'm dealing with factories in China. And they're like using zinc alloy, the whole nine. So I get to pick the material if I want to do brass. I could pick all that stuff, iron being the shittiest. Mm-hmm. Brass is pretty good for the enamel pins. It's the sturdiest, but you can't get as detailed with cutting into it. So zinc alloy is like the perfect medium.
Yep.
And, different types of enamel. You could use, all sorts of stuff. So I enjoy the crafting aspect of stuff. Even though I'm not creating it, I always ask my factory to send me videos, and they have like a machine that cuts the laser into the mold and the whole nine and stuff like that. Not only that, but I also collect toys, right? I'm a big toy collector, and Japanese vinyl, they call it sofubi. Mm-hmm. And the way they do stuff, the traditional Japanese way, is they'll sculpt something in clay, then they make a wax mold of it,
yep.
Then they make a metal mold from the wax mold, and that's when you pour the vinyl in, the whole spin, the whole nine, and you pull it out, cut it, whatever. So jewelry isn't the same.
But very close.
So years ago, I would assume they did the same thing. They would sculpt it out of clay first.
Yep. Mold,
the whole thing.
Take it out, cast it, make it in gold, and basically if diamonds are going in it, they would sit there and hand drill it, put the diamonds. Today, you don't even have to do all that. The guy who was designing doing the CAD places the holes for the diamonds. So there's no work involved. It's literally perfect.
That's what I got so fascinated with when I saw your Instagram videos, because you were printing in this purple filament.
Yep.
And that's why I was curious, and I asked you, what is that? So it's interesting that your 3D printer that you have is so dope that it actually prints in wax.
Yep.
So it eliminates you printing in a different medium and then making a wax mold from that medium.
Directly to wax, and then that wax literally goes into production.
Yeah.
And that's, it's you save a whole step.
Yeah.
And a big step at that.
That's why I was so fascinated with seeing that, because I had no idea. Because I know my friend dabbles in 3D printing. There's resin printers.
Yep.
And there's the other one, and the one of them has more lines in it than the other that you have to smooth out. Yours seems like there's nothing in it.
Originally, we, before we got into all this, like we had one of those like cheaper printers, but when I mean cheap, it was still like $4,000 or $5,000. It didn't really work. Like it wasn't made for the jewelry field. And then we started doing a little bit of research, and we came across this one. I mean, it's crazy expensive, but it literally it's perfect. Like, you could print something literally in an hour or two. If it's something more complex, depending on how many layers and how big it is from the platform up, it'll take maybe, 4 or 5 hours. But there's no lines.
I've never seen nothing like that.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
That's why I was blown away, because I see 3D printed stuff. I have friends that do it. And like even toys now, right? So like instead of sculpting by hand, people are doing what you do. Mm-hmm. They'll have designs. And when you do it via CAD and stuff like that, or ZBrush, whatever you're doing it in, you can get super detailed.
Oh, yeah.
That the hands don't have the ability to with tools.
Yep.
So a lot of them will print in resin or whatever the case may be, and then they'll make the wax mold from that and then do that instead of sculpting by hand. But it's crazy that you can print in fucking wax. And I wonder that if somebody had enough money, like I know a lot of toy makers, so I should pitch them the idea. You might even be able to, on the side, if you wanted to, I could link you with toy makers and you could print wax molds for them off rip. I can maybe link that up because it would save these guys
a lot,
so much more time and money.
And they'd come out more perfect.
You don't. That's the thing is when you print the other, you have to sand it. You have to do this Bondo, whatever it is.
You don't have to do anything. All you're doing is you're taking the wax and you're putting it in, a little bit of heated water, or heated alcohol.
Okay.
To get rid of, the residue, and that's it. Like they come out absolutely perfect with nothing wrong with them, no imperfections. You don't have to sand anything down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like that face piece that came out we're talking about, directly printed. I took it from there, I put it on the tree, and I put it into production.
Unbelievable.
Literally doing nothing at all. Like it was phenomenal, these printers.
When did you get that machine?
Oh, man.
That thing was like 50 grand, right? That
2020.
machine?
That was, at the time when we got it, it was 55,000, and they made an even better version of it. Not so much better, but something that prints a little bit faster.
Oh,
if it
saves
takes
time.
quicker. So if it's something takes 4 hours, the new one takes 2.5 hours, which nice. But they're asking for another 10,000 on top.
Yeah. What's the maintenance like on that machine?
It's a lot of work. You gotta literally have an employee on it. Like it's literally a full-time job. Like
I would assume, yeah, it's big too.
Like it's huge. I mean, you're talking about something that's
it's like 40 by 40,
easy,
right?
Easy, yeah, easy. And there's a lot involved. I mean, you got to pay attention to see that the wax isn't low on the machine, so a print doesn't stop midway through the night.
You're ruined. You got to redo it.
The print, thankfully, the machine is like pretty smart. It'll tell you like you're at 10%, you're at 15%, like order wax. But there's literally so much work involved in it that you got to hire someone just to like pay attention to this. You got to pay attention to the wax. You got to change out the filter,
clean it.
You got to clean it. Dust can't get in it or really on it. You got to empty out the wax. It's a lot of work.
That filament, what's the name of that filament you use? The wax? With that purple hue?
It's called, God.
Bro, I looked it up when you told me. It was like $1,200 a liter or something like that.
There's basically 4 cartridges inside, 2 different types. Each to fill up the entire 4 cartridges, you're talking about 12, 25, like $5,000 or sort of print out. Like,
and how much do you get out of that $5,000?
I'd say that $5,000 are probably going to take you'll get like 5 months of use out of it, I would say. Easy.
Oh, that's pretty good though.
It's not bad. I mean, initially buying it, you're like, holy crap. You put $5,000. Yeah, you're buying 55,000 on a machine. You put in $5,000 worth of wax into it. Then you got to replace it. But when you get like 5-6 months of use out of it and you don't have to get wax again, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But the wax is expensive.
Yeah. I saw it. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, with all things, it's normal. The work it does, it replaces, not replaces, but it does the work of like 2 employees. The machine.
And time.
Yeah. And cleaner. That's the most important thing. You're not worried about a wax or mold or any of this. It's out there and it's ready to work with.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier. Honestly, God, in a year or 2, I'd probably want to get another one.
To do double the work.
Definitely. I mean, not to replace an employee, but to just do more work.
Yeah. Well, the more you could do, the better.
Of course.
Do you have any other jewelers that pay you to make pieces like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, listen, I need a mold of this. Can you make it for me? So you not only produce your own stuff, you're producing for other people.
Oh, definitely.
So that machine is well worth the $50,000.
Oh, for sure. I didn't
hand over fist. You're probably making money.
I didn't bat an eye when we found out what it cost. I was like, it's gonna pay itself off. Like, just because if you like originally before we had it, like to get let's say a 3D design done. We design it, but since we're not printing it, we would send it out to somebody to print. My father's got some connections, there's a couple of guys on 47th Street. So he sent it to his friend. Like each print was like, depending on the size, $50, $100, $200. And you sit there and do math. And it's like if you lease this machine, or if you rent the machine, or if you buy it, it's going to pay itself off in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's not do this anymore. Let's just buy one and, kind of be done with sending out the waxes to be printed.
Yeah, I bet your dad's happier than a pig in shit.
Definitely. He's been on my case for the last 4 months. He's like, order another one.
Wow, see that?
I'm like, that's lovely and great, but like, it's a huge machine, like to put it, so you can't just take it and stick it somewhere. Like, you need the space for it. And
that's what's beneficial about you not having the biggest showroom.
Of course.
Because the manufacturing side of things is the most important.
Definitely.
Wow, that's amazing. I would assume that obviously this technology made your life easy, and like you already discussed that the maintenance on it is one thing. But what about health risks? Being a jeweler, I always wondered, and I would assume that there are some, especially when you work with certain chemicals, health risks for you. So like what precautions do you have to take, and what materials are the most hazardous that you've ever dealt with?
I mean, the hands-on, like the jewelers, the guys who are sitting down on the bench, there's not much you really worried about. It's alcohol and
that's not
water, and it's nothing to worry about. The most like thing you worry about is the actual flame, like torch.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
You talk about something that could get up to like 1,100 degrees.
Yeah.
But in the back end of it, like where my father works, you want to have a mask on. They're working with investment, and there's dust back there, and you want to just be precautious. So he'll have a mask on just in case. There's a huge ventilation system back there, so it's not like it's muggy or anything. It's okay back there. Like,
yeah,
he's been at this long enough where he knows what to and what not to do.
Yeah. Now, I think I know what this is called, the loop that you look through to see things.
Yep.
Do you think that affects your eyesight, looking through that thing a lot?
I mean, it definitely can if you're doing it constantly. Like if you're a diamond guy, I would say a good percentage of them have glasses.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting under loops, and they're sifting through thousands of stones a day, and you got to find a perfect match.
Yeah.
And looking in a loop, I would say definitely over time, you for sure can affect the eyesight.
There was one thing that I saw on your Instagram story that also blew my mind. It also looked rather big, but it seemed like you were welding these pieces inside a machine. It's like your hands went in this thing, and then there was a screen in front of you that acted as a camera and a magnifying glass to get really close to the thing to weld. Years ago, they would just probably use loops or something like that to see closer, right? That's when the health risk probably would take place, because you're the smoke.
Yeah.
What is that machine?
It's basically a laser welder. It's predominantly used in the jewelry field. Rather than sit there and use a torch and pieces of gold to weld things together, you're sitting inside of that machine, and that screen over there, basically you could either use the screen or you could use the microscopes to see. It blows it up where you're able to like weld pieces together, and it's a whole lot easier.
That thing's pretty nice.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. Like we got the first one years ago, and then right after, like 3 months after, we bought a second one. It's a lot quicker. Like if you're let's say welding a necklace, if I give it to the jeweler to weld the entire necklace, he'll be halfway, like maybe a quarter of the way through. I'll have finished one. So it's just you go seamlessly through it. Like it's just quicker, and I would say cleaner.
Yeah, it looks cool when I saw it.
A lot less dangerous.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
How many employees do you have working at your place? Because now, like, you have you have the 3D printer. You said a guy's got to really man that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm assuming you have somebody that does strictly that.
Yep.
You have the person that designs for you in CAD, but I assume they're not in your building. I assume because that's more of a remote thing. They don't need to be with you. I
have a couple of guys, like one of the guys actually in Armenian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I give him I give him basically all my business. He's out in California.
Shout out to the Armos. Or is he in Glendale? He's probably from Glendale.
No, he is.
Oh, definitely. See? I got to go out there one day, bro. Go see Glendale Gary.
California is a different world.
Bro. It's shot.
It's a different world.
Shout out to Vahe.
The shot coast.
And Aram, my boy Aram. Oh, man. Also, you have that. And then you have, you said about an enameler. So you have somebody that does your enamel work.
Yes, sir. And there's basically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 like bench jewelers that sit down and do like, tennis bracelets, tennis necklaces, pendants, this and that.
Yeah.
We have 4 waxers that actually, you still need waxers. Not everything could get done through the 3D printer. We have a total of 14 or 15 employees.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Hopefully, you get over these crazy times and you want to grow a little bit, It's just...
I want to come up and I want to see the operation because I love that shit.
For sure, definitely.
I definitely want to come up and see it.
Our doors are open.
I have a question about the enameler.
Yep.
Like I mentioned, I make the enamel pins and stuff. I just design them. I send them a proof, like an Illustrator file, a vector file, and I'll pick out every Pantone I want, show where I want it, what type of metal, if I'm doing hard enamel, soft enamel, because in the pin world, hard enamel is a little more expensive, but it's a little different because it's more flush, higher quality. Soft enamel, it's embedded in it, lower. So you could feel, it's lower, so you could feel the ridges in the metal and stuff like that. So, and I tend to use factories where they do it by hand, where they have a needle with the Pantone and they inject it in by hand. I prefer that. There's machines that do it, but I prefer the hand. It's a little more expensive, but the handwork is better.
Of course.
And I can get these pins that are really detailed. So for you, when it comes to enamel work, because let's say you did that guy, right? This is different because it's more of like a gradient. And is it printed on and then glazed or something? How is that done?
There's different layers to it. They go with the deepest part. Let's say the skin tone is the first thing that goes on the entire thing. And then they're basically layering on and it's basically painted on.
By hand, right? With a brush.
It's the best way.
Do you have a video of any of that being done? Because like I said, the pins is different. There's already a hole, a socket. Yep. You're filling it and letting go. This is totally different. This is like a Picasso work.
I'll bring you one by. There's one being finished. It's like a Moses parting the Red Sea.
Oh, that one you were working on.
So that's being worked on. I'll bring that by before I ship it out.
Oh, please. You don't live far at all. No, that one looks great. That 3D work. When I saw that CAD work, chef's kiss.
I can't wait till it's finished.
Oh man, that's for a football player, right?
Yeah. One of the guys on where is he? He's on the Cardinals.
Wow. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of imposters out there, so I want to bring that
not
back.
Not imposters. It's a strong word.
Too harsh.
It's a strong word.
Well, I'm an angry guy. I like to hit him where it hurts. I like to call them Instagram jewelers.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I guess since you're in the industry yourself, all the ins and outs, right?
Yes, sir.
But how can an average Joe know the type of person they're dealing with when it comes to jewelry and if they could trust that person or not? Is there any things that they can, keep themselves aware, like any red flags?
It's hard, man.
It's tough, right?
If you're like a first-time shopper and whether it's an average Joe or, some professional athlete, it's word of mouth is the best way. Someone telling you to go to this person.
It's the most organic.
Of course, yeah, because I've dealt with him, and I could vouch for the guy. That's the best way. Yeah. But to go based off of looking on Instagram and all that stuff, it's
impossible.
No. I have still people like messaging me, is this real? Like, come on, like
I can't fucking tell from a picture.
But like, look at the pictures and like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like, look at the followers and the people that are following me. You think I'm going to make fake jewelry? Like,
yeah,
it should be common sense, but it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah. So there's many jewelers out there, obviously, and probably more so than ever, especially because it's like the popular thing to be, right?
Of course.
But I want to focus on certain popular ones that we're talking about that create works largely for people in like the music industry, such as yourself, the professional athlete lane. I'm going to rattle off a couple of names.
Sure.
And if you may, can you briefly elaborate on how legit these people truly are and the misconceptions that may come along with them? And I'm going to say this in no particular order and favoritism, just names that I said I'm not into jewelry, right? Mm-hmm. But I pay attention.
Of course.
So I see a lot of these guys online. I check out their piece and stuff. So I'm just going to say some names, the most notable and original that I can remember, right? Now, this guy that I'm going to say now, he's been in the game a while. His legitimacy, I am not sure of. But all I know is he was probably, when we talk about Instagram jewelers and just people that are popular and in that space with rappers and all that stuff, this guy's OG.
Yep.
Ben Baller.
Good work.
Good work.
Good work.
Now, he owns, I guess, what's his company's name now? If & Co.
Yep.
What's his deal? Is he seems like a curator, or is he an actual jeweler? Does he actually craft this stuff? I mean, I'm sure now he doesn't do anything.
Early on, I would say.
But early on,
today,
he was a real jeweler?
Yeah, definitely. Today, I don't know if he's doing as much as he was, and it's fine. Of course, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, he's got a whole
an empire
and everything. Of course, like, you can't do everything, but good work.
Good work, right? Yeah, I like seeing his stuff. He's very good.
I'll call it like it is. Good work.
I feel bad for him with the stuff he's going through recently. I'm sure you've seen it online and stuff. I always liked him, though. I just wanted to see your opinion.
Good work.
And this guy's an OG, too. Jacob the Jeweler.
For sure, good work.
Some of his watches, man, are
absurd.
And his sketch work. See, now he posts videos of him sketching.
He's drawing out the watches, bro.
And it's beautiful.
It's absurd.
You got to start maybe do a time lapse of some of your sketches.
Definitely. I mean,
they don't have to be perfect. They're just ideas.
Yeah, no, definitely. But his
sketches they're
like spot on though, bro. It's insane.
That guy's legit, bro. That's another OG. I remember him from years ago. Every rapper in the world, the watches he's doing now with the roulette.
They're crazy.
I don't know. I mean, they're a little gaudy, but they're more art pieces.
Yeah, definitely.
Jimmy the Gent, aka Jimmy Boy. So he seems to me, just from the outside looking in, like a fraud. Not
a fraud, but nothing like what you mentioned, the first two guys.
Yeah.
This guy's
he's friends with Ben.
Yeah, friends with Ben, and he's kind of who got him into the business.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Good work, I would say. I mean, not necessarily someone that's hands-on or sitting down and following from start to finish, but decent product.
Okay, cool.
Decent product.
I think I'm pronouncing this correct. Juma Brothers at Icebox.
The guys in Atlanta?
I guess that's where I think so. Lil Baby is there a lot.
Icebox. He spent $250,000 when he was supposed to spend $25,000. Use it as a store credit.
That place looks very cookie cutter to me. It seems like Claire's meets high-end jewelry. I don't know. It seems weird to me.
Me and he used to outsource some of his tennis stuff and Cubans to me, Mike.
Oh, yeah?
Xbox, yeah. And, whatever, it is what it is. Kind of moved on and, did his own thing. But early on, we were making tennis stuff for him, like Cubans and tennis necklaces and bracelets and whatnot.
I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, I guess.
Of course. And, I mean, they have decent work, but
a lot of guys go to them.
The numbers are outrageous.
They're very high priced?
Yeah, numbers are outrageous.
It's a name, right?
Yeah.
Icebox?
Yeah. That's basically, you're going there and you're spending a ridiculous figure. I mean, for what exactly? I'm not too sure, but, can't knock the hustle.
So now this next guy I'm going to bring up, very interesting, funny character to me. It seems like, not that he took over for what Paul Wall started, but this guy does a lot of grill work. You probably know who I'm going to bring up. Johnny Dang.
Johnny Dang. He's a funny guy, man.
He's very funny.
He's hilarious.
It seems like he's doing a lot more piecework too now instead of grills.
Early on, it was I'd say early on was 90% grills. But, he's not that he's ventured off, but I've seen a whole lot more pendants recently.
Yeah, I see him more. Yeah. And they look okay. They look pretty good.
Nothing,
all right.
Again, nothing bad to say. Good work.
I wonder if I wonder if any of these guys do a lot in-house like you do. I'm curious. I wonder. I would assume they have the money to be able to.
You would hope, but again, it's to run a factory is a shitload of work, man.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like so many guys outsource it overseas. Like, you know, they'll pay whatever the premium is to get it done because the work is so cheap. Like they'll pay the import duties or whatever it is, but the work is like dirt cheap. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
And some of them probably do it in-house. I would say Johnny Dang probably does in-house, if I had to guess.
He's an interesting fellow.
He is, I mean, he is funny, bro.
You ever meet him?
No. But he's a character for sure, man.
This next one I'm going to bring up is one of my favorites. I actually really like his work.
Detroit?
Jason of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, nice work. Clean work.
Clean.
For sure. Clean work. Nothing to say.
I really like that guy's stuff, man.
Nice work. I mean, he does a lot of the championship rings.
Yeah, sorry. He makes. I see some of his pieces, man. I think he's done stuff for Drake, a bunch of guys, and it's pure
even
clean.
Like the basketball rings, the championship rings.
Sick.
Nice ideas for sure. Like being able to like one of them. I think it was the Bucks championship or Golden State, where the top of the ring came off. And became a separate pendant.
You're right. Holy shit, that was crazy.
So, yeah, for sure. He's
very innovative.
Yeah, definitely. That's the word.
Pushing. That's why he's one of my favorites. I love to see guys like that. I really appreciate that work.
Sure.
He seems very like high class. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You know, like guys like Johnny Dang and all these guys, like Jimmy Boy, like they make good stuff, but they have more of a like a hood approach.
Sure.
It doesn't feel
this
like
guy's wearing a shirt, a suit and a tie, and
you know what I mean? There's a difference there. Like when somebody approaches you, you know, it's how you carry yourself. It's the first impression.
Of course, it's going to open or close a lot of doors.
Yeah, and Jason of Beverly Hills, very classy, clean, like white glove service, if you will.
For sure.
Avian, I think I'm pronouncing that correct.
Aviani and Co.
Yes, Aviani.
Yeah, they do their own stuff. They're right on 47th Street. Nothing bad to say about them. I mean, I'm not asking
you to shit on people. I'm just genuinely curious.
I would say they got a pretty good rap.
Nice pieces. I've seen some nice
pendants
stuff.
there. They've made some really different things. They did a watch a couple of months back. Either an AP or a Cartier with like skulls going up the band of the watch.
Oh, wow.
Like interesting stuff. They do stuff that's a little bit out there, but you know, you could appreciate the work.
Yeah, I'm a fan for sure. Now this next person seems like someone, now I don't know him, so I'm not trying to shit on him, but he seems like somebody that, you know, silver spoon type kid.
I'll say Trex.
No. I love him. I'm going to bring him up. I actually love him. Even though he's just because he's crazy.
He's hilarious.
This kid just seems like somebody that had everything handed to him his whole life. And I don't know why. There's a particular watch he's been hyping up for so long, and it's really irritating to watch. Moses.
And he didn't sell it.
That fucking Chrome Hearts watch from Moses. He seems, to be fair, he seems like a nice kid.
Nice young kid. Bro.
But it's just, I don't understand the motivation. It doesn't seem genuine to me. It doesn't seem like he loves the jewelry. It seems like he loves the fame.
Yeah, that definitely.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%, I would say.
I'm not saying he's a bad person.
No, nothing bad to say about
selling
the person.
fake stuff.
No, not at all. The stuff is legit.
His father was a jeweler, right?
Yep. The work is legit. The product is nice, but like it's not like there's so much product out there that he's put out. The guy, he puts out like 4 pendants a year. Like if you go back and look, like it's all
silver spoon kid, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like he lives off his dad's riches, has connections, knows a lot of people, has fun, enjoys life.
Walking around in Louis V sweatsuits.
The fucking hats he likes, the bucket hats. I mean, God, listen. I wish my fucking parents had that money.
For sure. I'm not hating. No, not at all, man. Can't hate. And
it seems more of like a TikTok jeweler to me, like a social media influencer, if you will. Not as much as a real hardcore, like a love for the game of jewelry. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
Now this guy, I like his stuff also. Greg Una.
Good work.
Like the work.
Good work. Clean work. He does more than like big stuff, gaudy stuff. It's smaller. Like we were talking about earlier. Like
very nice, small, tasteful.
Yeah. Like
he's sick.
It's not for everyone. It's clean stuff.
Yeah, he's sick. I like him a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
This next guy I like a lot too. Elliot Eliante.
He's the best of the bunch that you named.
Dude, that guy is phenomenal. That's why I saved him kind of for the end.
Yeah. Elliot's work is sick.
Dude, that guy's top fucking notch. Dude.
For sure, bro.
Wow.
Sure. Like, the work of everyone that you mentioned is the top notch.
So I curated a decent list.
No, it's a nice list for sure. But Elliot's work is.
That goes to show you my taste. The other people that I see, I don't even follow. And you brought it up. The last person is Trax.
Yeah, man, he's hilarious, bro.
I know a lot of people hate him. He's a lunatic.
Hate. Like,
but I appreciate. I don't know what it is. I think he's fucking funny, dude.
It's hilarious.
I don't know if he's a good jeweler. I don't like his pieces much.
I mean, I don't think he's. Not that I don't think he's a jeweler. I don't think he's like.
He's an outsourcer, mostly, right?
He's not a jeweler. Like, he's not sitting down making it. You know, he might outlook.
He's a curator.
He might overlook the design getting done and all that, but I don't.
He's not physically doing it.
No, for sure he's not. But he's hilarious.
He's got a big place, big empire.
Huge.
But dude, I don't think I've ever laughed.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Harder. When he went and confronted those guys for charging him too much for the gold or whatever, bro, I almost shit my pants, bro. I'd love to talk to that guy. I'd love to interview him. He's fucked up.
He had a confrontation with one of the diamond dealers on 48th Street. Something about, they sold him lab grown diamonds, and he thought they were real, and bro, they went back and forth for like 6-7 months. Hilarious.
That guy's fucking crazy, bro.
Oh, he's out of his mind.
You know that guy personally?
You've
had run-ins?
I've had run-ins.
He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's
got a pretty big business, right? Pretty big establishment.
Huge.
Dude, the one thing I did like that he did was the Busta Rhymes shit that he just did, the dragon stuff. Whoa.
Yeah.
That stuff is fucking next
for
level.
Sure.
He's a fucking
He's hilarious.
Thanks for clarifying all that. I just wanted to check in. Those are the ones that I pay attention to that I know. And I just wanted to know their legitimacy and what you thought.
Those are probably like the 5 to 8 jewelers out there. That's like, you're not going to have an issue.
Oh, good. Guys. So I picked a good list.
There's another one. There's one in Detroit.
That's you brought up before. So who's this?
Hutch.
I'm going to check him out.
Hutch was great, but...
shout out Paul's uncle Hutch. Same name.
Unfortunately, the gentleman himself, he passed away. He was in a shooting.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
A shooting?
Yeah, right in front of his store. No one knows exactly what the case was exactly or what was going on, but, right in front of his store.
Detroit's bad, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely nowhere you want to live for sure.
Oh, my God. Rest in peace, Hutch.
He was unbelievable, man.
When did this happen?
It's been about 1.5 years, I would say.
Oh, so it was recent.
Yeah, recently. I mean, I was talking to him, and then 3 days later, I got the news. I was like, what the hell happened?
Also, you were good friends with him.
Yeah, bro. He'd come to town. He'd come by. We'd sit, hang out, and have pizza.
Damn,
sucks.
That's sad, bro.
Yeah, sucks.
So you mostly work in the custom space, right?
Yeah.
But you also sell watches. You resell watches, right? Mm-hmm. What watches do you personally feel are the best bang for your buck in regards to motion and quality? And what watches do you feel are the absolute worst for the high price tag that come along with them?
I mean, Rolex is probably still the king.
The king?
I would probably say Rolex is probably still the king. Not a big fan of the Cartiers.
Yeah, I do like the one that's...
Skeleton?
No, the one that looks like the Salvador Dali. That's my favorite. I forget the name of it.
Not coming to my mind either.
Very simple band.
Yep.
Because I have a real dainty wrist. I have my appendage, my elbow down, knee down, very skinny for some reason. Like Dr. Dre. You ever look at Dr. Dre's arms? His wrists are so tiny. That's like me.
He's such a big guy. It's insane.
I know, but elbow down, same thing. My appendages are very slender when they get to the end. And I like that watch because I could wear something like that. Because I'm not wearing a brightly Bentley. I fucking hate those.
Oh, so loud.
Those big fucking, my dad's got one. This fucking guy's got a fucking, a rim on his fucking.
44 millimeter. They were they got big and, the Breitlings kind of phased out. Quickly.
Garbage. I mean, they're expensive, but.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the top watches, I would say definitely still Rolex is up there. Because they have, stuff for $10,000 and, $100,000. They have a wide range of stuff. There's the Richard Mills.
They loved it. I they have rubber bands.
Yeah, it looks weird for sure.
To spend 400 grand, it's got a rubber band. It's weird to me. But they pay, man.
They are. Yeah, man,
I do like how like it's clear through it, and you can see the motion of the front and the back.
Phenomenal.
That's cool. That's cool.
The design of it is nice. I mean, it's not for everyone, obviously, but they are beautiful watches. I mean, you have the Johann Blake one. It's the what's it called? The Runner. They basically want to watch off of him, and they got the black and green one, and they got an all white one. They're phenomenal looking.
Yeah,
phenomenal looking.
The clear one you had with the diamond bezel you put on there,
the Emerald Cup bezel.
That one's nice.
Beautiful watch.
What else? What else is good? What's up with these Audemars? I don't like them personally. I don't like APs that much.
APs are. It's not for everyone. It's not everyone's cup of tea. They're more boxy looking. The band is a little bit bigger. I would say they're nice watches. Not necessarily like. I don't know if they're worth what they're asking for.
Yeah,
especially the precious metal ones. The yellow gold and the rose gold. You're talking about watches that are $100,000 plus.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm probably getting a Rolex.
Yeah.
And then you got the Pateks, also nice, but a lot of them they have the rubber strap you're talking about.
You know what I like about the Pateks or whatever you pronounce it? It seems like they have the most variety when it comes to to shapes and styles.
For sure.
The other stuff they're more like cookie cutter, but like these guys have a real range, which I appreciate.
Definitely.
Some of them are god awfully expensive, $1 million here, this and that. No diamonds on them, just $1 million. Plain Jane, $1 million bucks. But I do appreciate how they have all these different, like I said, I have like 2 watches. I have like a Bulova and a Gucci. I don't wear watches. I don't wear jewelry. Look at me, I'm clean, bro. I don't like them. But I pay attention.
Of course.
Rolex is probably my favorite.
I would say probably still top dog.
Yeah. I like Rolex a lot.
Something simple like a date just. And it's nice, but it's a nice everyday watch. Like, what more do you need?
Yeah, they're nice. I would love a solid gold plain Jane.
Oh man, it's a presidential, yellow gold, or
that's
rose
my
gold.
favorite.
There's not a better watch, bro.
Rose gold's nice.
Rose gold, phenomenal.
I can't spend a Honda Civic on a fucking wrist. I don't know.
It's insane.
I'm not rich like that.
Not even, bro. Even if we had the money for it, like, and you're not, like, it's tough to
justify.
It's tough to justify it.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Unless you're rich, unless you got the money.
Yeah. And you're talking about on a what's it called? A precious metal watch, rose gold, yellow gold, platinum. You're talking about an easy $45,000.
Yeah, bro.
It's insane.
Yeah, but they are nice. They are clean. They are clean. So you're not an authorized dealer for watches, correct? You're a watch reseller in a sense, right?
But everything that comes from me comes with boxes and papers.
Of course. You post them all the time. Yeah. The card certificate and all that. Yeah. How does one become an authorized dealer, and is it worth it? And can you? Is it possible? Or most of these places are only flagship stuff?
Definitely flagship stuff. I mean, to become an authorized seller of Rolex, I don't even know how to
because there are places that are, right?
Yeah. I mean, you look at the local places like in the mall, like Golden State.
Yeah.
You have how they get into it. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I wonder what it would take to become it, and if it's even worth it. I wonder if they would have like MOQs, like minimum order quantities.
Probably
because it's kind of like I came from the sneaker world. I used to work in the sneaker industry, so sometimes they'd have these monopolies on like their limited stuff, and they'd be like, okay, if you want this limited stuff, you got to take.
You got to buy 1,000 of these,
and then you get fucking stuck, and they wonder why these people are backdooring
everything.
The bulk for a cheap price to pay their fucking net 30 or net 60, whatever. So I was always curious on why and if it's worth it.
Definitely the same thing, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of the guys that are buying these watches from you, they don't care if you're authorized or not, as long as they're getting the box and they're getting the papers for the watch. Like you're still able to go to AP or Rolex or Patek and get it serviced. It's no different.
What I've noticed is it's hard to get watches at retail lately.
Yeah, it's impossible, bro. Unless you know somebody there.
How long has it been that way? Because that wasn't always like that. This must have been in the past 10 years.
Definitely in the last 8 to 10 years, I would say. I mean,
why is that?
What happened? I'd have
Whether people have all this fucking money all of a sudden?
Supply and demand, I think, man. That's like making it more than what it actually is. Like they make it so difficult to get a presidential. Like you can't walk into a store and get a Sky Dweller.
You need to know somebody,
You need
right?
to know someone. Like
That's so strange. Do they have a limit on how many they sell out of each location and shit like that?
I'm sure
or?
they're allocated, in a certain way. That's definite.
I mean, even cars, dude. Like my buddy's looking for a car right now. He wants a simple Prius, hybrid. There's not available.
No, that's insane.
And these dealers are selling them $5,000 above retail MSRP. It's absurd.
Like right before, around COVID, like when I got my BMW, I knew someone at a good friend of mine who was working in the Manhattan, and he's like, we gotta build it, and it's gonna take 6 months, and I don't even know if I can promise you that it's gonna get here. I'm like, what the hell's going on, bro? It's a fucking car, man.
Dude, this is why like the conspiracy theorists and the tinfoil hats come up.
They might not be too far off.
Exactly. Because, bro, once this pandemic hit, the market changed for multiple avenues.
Everything, for everything.
Baseball cards.
Everything.
Rolexes. Yep. I mean, cars. Houses.
Stainless APs, used stainless APs were, being sold for, let's say, $30,000, $32,000. Around the pandemic, they were moving for like $58,000. Like, what the hell's going on?
That's fucking absurd.
What changed that this watch gained double the value?
Right?
Nothing. Just people got like, I feel like over the pandemic, people just got stupid.
It's crazy.
They shot something into the air, and like,
dude, it makes you think that the pandemic was on purpose for this reason. Think about lumber. Think about necessity. Everything's milk, eggs.
What makes milk and eggs go up in price? Tell me.
Dude, think about gas.
More or less chickens?
Have you seen the articles on gas? Gas is about to hit it's about to climb even higher for the summer's coming. That's why they know we got to drive.
After
it's
summer.
a fucking game, dude.
Summer finishes, it'll go back down 50 cents. It's like pure nonsense.
It's a fucking shame, man. It's a fucking shame.
They got us on like, what's it called? Like we're like puppets.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
What's your opinion on icing out watches and ruining the factory features on them?
No,
because I know you do them sometimes.
Of course. I mean,
is that by request or is that by artistic?
Definitely by request. I mean, you're not going to sit there and drill holes into
to resell
a $40,000 presidential. Like it's something that somebody wants specifically.
Okay,
they'll send you a picture of what they want or someone that's done it. I'm going to sit there, basically take the watch and drill the holes into it and, ice it out. Do I recommend it? It depends on the person. Like if it's their one and only watch, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Keep it plain, whether it's stainless or rose, yellow, platinum, whatever it is. But I mean, if you got a couple of watches, you got 4 or 5 Rolexes, there's nothing wrong with having an iced out one in the collection.
Yeah.
For sure. Like they're nice. Not necessarily my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not mine either. They kind of look cool, but I kind of would prefer if the watch came from the factory with it on it. And that definitely affects the value, obviously, because you're ruining, no matter how much you spend in diamonds, you're diminishing the actual value, the natural value.
If nothing else, you're drilling into gold.
Yeah.
Like a Sky Dweller or a Presidential, you're drilling into it. These watches are like 200 something grams. After you're done with it, it's going to probably weigh 150 grams.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you lose gold. It's no joke.
It's true.
No joke.
So let me ask you this. You say you lose gold, right? I guess I would assume that would leave shavings on your table.
Yep.
You keep those shavings, no? What do you do? Is it worth saving?
Honest to God. I mean, off of one watch.
No. If you continue saving them.
If over a course of time.
A year, 2 years?
Yeah. Over a course of time.
Is that what you do? Do you save them, the shavings?
Some people ask. Some people
they want them.
People that don't know.
What the fuck are you going to do with shavings?
Nothing.
I mean, for you, it's worth to save.
Take it and I'll send it out to be refined. And people I'm not going to get 100% back of what I send out.
Yeah, you slice a little bit off the cheese.
Of course, it's considered a loss. Let's say what do you send out to get refined?
Yeah,
but drilling into watches, I would say, especially into fine metal, like a rose gold watch, a yellow gold watch, platinum. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't suggest doing it. If it's a stainless watch, it's all right. It is what it is. But precious metal, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of them look really nice, but I just prefer if it'd be like a factory.
For sure.
Done. Like Jacob, when he does those $1 million diamonds, those are insane. They're just covered in diamonds. The whole bezel,
The entire thing.
the face. It's like
The entire thing. It's like the thing we were talking about before. The Richard that I did with the emerald
nice.
cut. Emerald
That's nice.
bezel. It had the emerald cuts on the inside of the face and the movement.
nice.
I mean, he's doing this, but he's doing diamonds as well on the band, and his work is.
So let me ask
special.
you this: when you're customizing these watches, especially when you have to go into the face, you must have to really be well versed on the mechanics of that particular watch, because it could probably get hairy.
For sure. Like the couple we did 2 Richards 2 weeks ago. You send a watch out to a watchmaker. There's literally 1 or 2 guys in the city.
Really?
Yeah. And that's literally all they do. I have a picture of it. Like, sits down and basically takes the watch apart.
Okay.
Leaves it there on his table. Sends you the case, and you got to do what you got to do. And
And you
after it's
send
done,
it
you send
back.
it back to him, and he basically puts it back together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he?
I'm not-
Let's say you're putting on the face, right? Does he tell you like you can put stones on these parts, but you can't put it on this part because the hands will hit?
You know what it is now? At this point, it's just kind of like sitting down and doing it. You know where and what to. It's just repetition.
Okay.
Like, you know which watch, where you can and can't drill into it. It's
All right.
Yeah, they're like machines, man. You sit there and, drill, skip over this and keep going around.
Oh, that's cool that there's only 2 guys really.
Yeah, it's literally, and I use just the one that takes them apart.
So every jeweler just sends their shit to him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Oh, wow. What's the turnaround? Do you get it back quick, or is he backed up? He or she, whatever.
The 2 watches that I sent to him, he took it apart it took him a day to take the watch apart. Then he sent it to me, and basically, we did our work. Basically a full day to take it apart, and then another day to put it back together.
It's not bad.
No, it's not at all. I mean, for that Richard, he charged like $4,500 to take it apart.
Wow. And put it back together, or just take it apart?
And put it back together.
That's a lot. Yeah. Wow.
And then if you want to, let's say, how you're able to change that band out, it's got the rubber strap. He wants like another $2,500 if you want to swap out the straps, because you got to re-waterproof the watch.
How do you waterproof it?
Just the way that he cases it and everything, he does it himself to get it back to it's insane.
See, this is the shit I'd love to learn about.
$2,500 to $3,000. I was like, man, are you out of your mind? So
You got to do it though.
I went back to the customer. I'm like, man, Justin, maybe we just keep the black strap on it, and you want to spend another $3,000 just to swap out this?
Unless he wants
strap?
to.
And then the strap is another $2,000. Yeah, it's insane.
What, to change the color?
Yeah.
What does he have, like a line? Like, does he get distributed directly from the company with the bands?
The straps are actually like, there's some dealers in the city that like have these Patek straps and Richard straps.
Where the fuck do they get them? Directly from the company?
I don't know, nor do I ask, man.
That's interesting, because how do you know if they're authentic or not?
There's like 1 or 2 companies out there that make like aftermarket ones. Pretty nice. Pretty close to like the original ones.
But what if you want OG?
If you want OG, you got to go to one of these guys on the block, man.
Wow.
Where they get it from, definitely have a connection at the...
Yeah, it's a very crazy industry.
Oh, for sure, bro. I mean, it's like funny stuff. Like, someone will come to get a watch, ask you for something, and he'll be like, give me 1 second. He'll run like up the block, go to the other jeweler, get the watch on consignment, come back and show.
Because how many fucking businesses and jewelers are in the diamond district?
Oh, God.
An endless amount.
All of 47th Street.
Fucking filled.
All of 47th Street are basically like, window stores. A shitload.
Wow. If you could, for any interesting parties out there, are there any like specific techniques or skills that you believe are essential for aspiring jewelers to master that would benefit their process exponentially when it comes to being a jeweler and becoming and wanting to become one? Is there any particular specific techniques or skills that are the most important that overrule everything else?
Not so much techniques and skills, but I would say, well, maybe a skill. Definitely it's CAD. It's the most important thing today.
For now.
Yeah, right now it's CAD. Being able, like, there's guys that for a CAD design, if they're not working hourly for you, they could charge, $2,500, $3,000 per design.
Per design?
Yeah, if it's something that's like intricate or, something that has a lot going on. And it's not something you're going to price shop. You're not going to go question 3-4 different guys because not everyone's able to do it.
And do it good.
Yeah, for sure. I would say definitely the CAD and learn how to use the welding machine, the laser machine, because it's easy to work. Like you're able to do everything that a jeweler does all under the microscope.
Yeah.
Makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Definitely.
I got to ask one more thing before we exit.
Yes, sir.
What did you think of that movie Uncut Gems? And how many people are out there like that?
And you're going to laugh, but I haven't watched it. I've
really?
No, bro. No.
You have to.
Maybe I sit down one day and...
I'm surprised you didn't want to because you're in the jewelry business.
Field and, you're a jeweler you watched it. And it didn't pique my interest.
That's crazy.
I do like Adam Sandler.
Oh, he's the best.
He's
the fucking best.
He's hilarious. But I don't know, maybe one of these nights I sit down, I watch.
You should, because you're a jeweler, man. I got to say one thing about it when I watched it. From beginning to end, constant anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Very fast-paced, nerve-wracking. I felt like, obviously I'm not a jeweler, and I'm not in that cutthroat crazy, because he was like, gambler, the whole thing. I'm not in that industry, but I could imagine that these directors or director really captured that
accurately.
High anxiety, angst, fast-paced,
it's
money-making.
all right. It's all right.
It gave me anxiety watching the whole movie from beginning to end. It was a constant pace. Like,
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't end. I mean, one couple of Christmases ago, there's one client that I make stuff for during Christmas. Football player.
What, every year during Christmas?
I swear to you, every year during Christmas, he reaches out like 2 weeks before Christmas. And like I cut off like custom orders like literally 3 weeks before Christmas. And knowingly, he still reaches out and can you do this, this, and this? I'm like, yeah, no problem. We'll get it done. And one of these pendants was ridiculous. Like he called me, I think it was like the 16th. And it's 9 days, but there's weekends and there was literally 5 days to get it done. We got it done, finished, and I'm supposed to ship it. I put it in the box and we left work without shipping it. I'm like driving home. I'm like, I forgot to do something. What the hell did we forget? I was like, you shipped a pendant? I'm like, turned back, we're halfway through the ride, went back to work, boxed it up, ran to FedEx, because like overnight closes at like 7 o'clock or so. Like I got there at like 6:50, dying like of breath, but got it there. Thankfully, stuff like this doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But there's instances where it gives you anxiety because you got to get it done. If you don't, somebody else is going to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it is stressful at times for sure.
I mean, even recently, the story that you were telling us in the Highest Stanzi group chat, you had to fly to Paris to hand deliver a piece.
Yeah, originally, like
what happened in that situation?
It was insane, man. I shipped out a pendant for one of the guys.
It was a custom piece?
Yeah, a custom pendant we did for him. And then he FaceTimes me and he opens the box and he goes, Ari, there's nothing in here. What the hell do you mean there's nothing in there? He goes, there's nothing in the box. Showed me a box. There's literally nothing in there. So somewhere in transition from FedEx to customs and customs to him, something happened. What exactly, unfortunately, I'll never know. So basically, we remade the pendant.
Oh my God!
I was not shipping it again because it happens once.
You have to insure it goes.
Of course, I have to insure it. So I took a flight out to Paris for 2 nights. Literally just deliver this and then fly back home.
What was the piece?
The piece was Wilo. It was his name is Wilson. So he goes by Wilo. So we did that pendant, like a double layer piece. And I mean,
double layer like the piece that you're wearing?
Correct. So it has two steps, a top layer and a bottom layer. And we remade it and got on a flight, flew out there, met him, nice kid. got business done and flew back home.
Well, you insured it, so it didn't come out of your pocket, right? You get the money back, but I'm sure you had to fight for it.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy, these motherfuckers,
man.
bro.
FedEx is the best and the worst.
They are the best as far as getting this stuff there.
Yeah. Never do business with UPS.
Fuck those motherfuckers, bro.
Absolute worst humans alive.
I hate those fucking low-life scum buckets, bro.
Worst. Bro.
Fuck UPS, bro.
Wholeheartedly agree.
USPS is better.
Definitely.
Fuck UPS.
Definitely.
Bro, I chase these motherfuckers down my street, bro. No bullshit.
It's insane. They don't even pay attention, bro.
I hate them. They're fucking lowlifes.
They don't even pay attention.
Fuck UPS. I don't know if you ever saw my videos. I fucking hate those motherfuckers, bro.
I've seen.
Bro, these motherfuckers hate me, bro. You know what they did one time? So you see, like, my house is there. I have 3 buildings on my property. So I got that. I got the arcade we're recording in now, and I have my barn there. It's like a house. Mm-hmm. You know how you get a picture of where they delivered it?
Yep.
I'm waiting for this package all day. After I fucking verbally raped the lady at the station. Bro, I'm on the phone like going ballistic, right? These people think I'm fucking lunatic. I think they have my picture or my address on a wall somewhere. I see that it got delivered. I go up front. It's not there. I'm like, where's this motherfucker? I'm going crazy. Bro, I see the picture. They delivered it in front of my garage door like scumbag. On purpose. Because they know I'm going to fucking cause problems. But I hate that brown truck.
It's the worst. Worst.
I want a Saddam Hussein bazooka missile all their fucking trucks.
I don't understand how they keep their jobs either.
Bro, fuck those fucking motherfuckers.
Imagine.
FedEx the best.
FedEx by far the best. For sure.
It's the most expensive?
It is. But I mean, we have, thankfully, like a corporate account with them where it's reduced a little bit because we ship a decent amount of packages.
Frequently, yeah.
It's...
They probably come to your building and pick it up, right? You don't even have to go anywhere.
Sometimes we have them come in and sometimes we drop it off because there's like literally one half a block away. So.
How do you package these goods? Do you have your own your logo like boxes and stuff like that?
Yeah, boxes definitely. You know, depending on the size of it, we got a jewelry box.
Are they branded with like foil or something?
Some of them are branded. I've ordered. Unfortunately, getting any of this custom stuff takes 6 months. So we ordered a couple months back.
Especially if you get it from China.
Yeah, that's insane, man. They take forever, and 90% of the time, there's always something wrong. And if it's branded, you have the logo on the top of the box, and bubble wrap, box it, tape it, FedEx box.
Yeah.
That box into another FedEx box. Just make it secure. You know.
Do you stamp all your pieces too with your logo or no?
Yeah, definitely. The back of the pendants have the logo somewhere on the piece.
Laser engraved or something, I suppose?
No, they literally, they come with the CAD. The guy who did all the CADs just puts it there. Like, we don't even talk about it anymore. He just does it without.
Yes, naturally, yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, man, I learned a lot today about jewelry, and I appreciate it. You filled that void in my heart.
When you want, come by, bro.
I love to learn.
We'll go from start to finish, and we'll show it.
Oh, I'd love to, bro. I'll pick a whole. I have. I don't know if you're working this week, but I have Memorial Day weekend. That whole week I have off. I'm actually going to be in the city. I have an interview with a legend that I'm scared to. I'm nervous to interview him. I'm going to be in the city that Friday, but I could pick a day before that. I'd love to come by. That week I'll be off all week. So
yeah, definitely for our work. Why not?
All right, we'll figure it out, baby.
For sure.
Well, thank you for coming, brother.
Thank you for having
me. It was a pleasure. Thank you for educating me on your business and jewelry in general.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.